Hey guys, today I decided to share with you guys about the prophetic mantle and how each generation gets better and better and better. And I asked you guys to read about Samuel chapter 1 through chapter 3, because there's lots of chunky good stuff inside that three scriptures. Right? So I'm just going to talk to you about what I feel, and tomorrow when we do our Bible study, I'll let you guys know that you go up online and get it. Alright? You can see I'm home. However, Samuel 1, the birth of Samuel, it just simply starts that there was a certain man from Ramathaim, a Zuphite, from the hill country of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah, son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zephu, an Ephraimite. He had two wives, one who was called Anna and the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Anna had none. I want to stop in that little portion right there, and I want to talk to you about why you see, when you see the names of like the generation, he's trying to let you know where it all started. You know what I'm saying? And if you, a lot of times, if you go back, you'll see God made like a promise to a particular generation, and it started with like this. It started with like Ephraim. If you go back into Genesis 30, okay, before all this happened in Genesis 30, it was talking about the birth of Joseph and what happened when Joseph was born. And in verse 22, where, you know what I'm saying, all the other wives had children, but it took a while for Joseph to come. So I'm watching you seeing it. When the great ones are going to come, they take time. Something, I guess, like sometimes like there's a hindrance, or there's like a space or a vacuum that has to be filled with something else before they could come. Like there's got to be certain things that happens in time and in place before they could fully manifest. But it takes consistent prayer, and it takes consistent faith to hold on and to believe that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think, according to the power at work in us. So we've got to always remember to allow that power to work. We've got to allow it to work. And a lot of times we fight it because we don't understand what's going on, and we're trying to figure things out. And a lot of times we got to learn that sometimes it's not in the figuring out, it's in the trusting, it's in the using of your faith, where the thing becomes materialized and you're able to grasp and to fully control, fully understand what God's really saying to you at that particular time. So I want to just touch on this for a second, because he was in Genesis 30, 22, it was talking about Joseph. I know Joseph took a long time to come. And the name Joseph means adds to. You know what I'm saying? I would put it in the term like increase, because that's the mother's request when she came. When she got him, she said, "May God add to me another son." When he came, because she was looking at the rest of the ladies and they had plenty, but she didn't know that it was not about the quantity; it was about the quality. Because that one son was going to be such a great man that he was going to save his entire family. But again, our spiritual perspective are always got to be open, so we're able to see and understand and grasp, and then we're able to put things together. But it takes time, and I always say that it takes time. So you got to go into your own study time. Sometimes sit down, read the thing over, and just say, okay, you hear this name before, Ephraim. So you go back in the beginning of the Bible and you look for it, and you might see Ephraim, and you see what goes on there, and you see how his father had to struggle. You see what his father did, you know what I'm saying, to get to the place where he was, but when he got to the place, he was also robbed. And there's always a lot of fight against the prophetic. Always a lot of fight, and it didn't just start here, because his father was a dreamer, and then Joseph became a dreamer, and then years down the line, here comes Samuel, out of the same bloodline. You know what I'm saying? Now is the prophetic mantle, it's like it's coming in its fullness, because you've never seen it operated like this before, you know what I'm saying, where it's like really stand out. Then you start to hear about the prophets, and you know what I'm saying? Abraham was called a prophet in the beginning of the Bible, where he had to pray for Abimelech to get healed, because God said, "My prophet will pray for you, and you know you get healed." Then it talked about Moses, who was the prophet also, you know what I'm saying? And Aaron and his sister Miriam, they were also prophetic. You know what I'm saying? But there's different mantles of the prophetic, and Moses was like up there, and he was like talking to God, and then Miriam and her brother Aaron were, you know what I'm saying, on another level. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're in God, it's like getting a job. When you get a job, you start out on the regular zone first, and then after that, you know what I'm saying, you want to get promoted, so, you know what I'm saying, you put in the work, you know what I'm saying, you apply for the next position, and you move up, you know what I'm saying? So it is with God. When you come in the door, you just learn about God, and then the more you start to learn, then the Lord starts to put more responsibility on you, so you're able to do what He wants to get done in this lifetime, and be able to, you know what I'm saying, bring forth and produce the fruit that He wants in our lives that's going to feed other people and going to bring newcomers into the kingdom. However, I just want to touch on that briefly, just to give you an understanding of just that first scripture right there. There's so much in it, but I'm going to try to give you all in a good enough time where you can understand. It says, and in verse 3, it says, and year after year, this man went up to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord at Shiloh. You know what I'm saying? And there were these two kids there, two sons of the priest that was there. His name was Eli, and Elkanah would come there and sacrifice, and he would give the portion of the sacrifice to his other wife and to his wife that didn't have any kids. He would give her a double portion, you know, because he loved her so much. But what I'm looking at is that he would give her all that he could give her. But there are certain things that, you know, if you're a husband or a wife, or not even a husband or wife, when you're in a relationship with God, period, there are certain things that people could give you, you know what I'm saying, and your loved ones could give you, but they can't give you what God has for you. You know what I'm saying? There's this thing that is just between you and God, and you've got to get to that place where you get to the understanding to know that, hey, it's between you and God alone. You can't do nothing else, you know what I'm saying, except it be of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So she would go with her husband, Peninnah, and Anna would go, but Anna would be very depressed in heart because she didn't get what she wanted, and her husband would say, I'm trying to give you everything, and she can't, you know what I'm saying? Till one day she decided to go outside the church and stood outside there at the doorpost, and I think women weren't really allowed to go inside, so she stood outside and just really just poured her heart out. And while she was there pouring her heart out, the priest came out and his assumption, because sometimes when we look at people going through stuff, you know, we tend to want to say, hey, look at them, why are they doing that craziness? But you don't know what's going on in their heart, and you don't know the conversation that they're having with the Lord. And so what was going on was she was having a deep conversation, because she got to the point now where she's not going to sit back anymore. Now she's going to start to be proactive. She's going to come to the Lord. Now she's going to start out, because she sees one thing. Her husband is vowing every year. He comes and he brings a vow. He brings a vow to the Lord, and he sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? He goes up every year. You know what I'm saying? It was a requirement for the man. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to, but because his love for the Lord and his maturity, you know what I'm saying, and his understanding, he goes and does this every year. And so he would go and he would go and he would go. And one day she got it. And she's like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna really like hit it now. I'm really pressing, I'm pour out everything out there. You know what I'm saying? And she made a vow to God. You know what I'm saying? About the exact same thing that she needed from God. You know what I'm saying? She put it into God, because sometimes the thing that we need, sometimes we end up putting it in front of God, and He's got to say, hey, listen. Like for a perfect example. God did with Abraham back in the Bible. He was waiting on the son for a long time. And he got a test where he says, hey, give me your son. You know what I'm saying? You got to sacrifice your son. You know? And he was like, oh, man, I've been waiting for the son like 100 years, man, and you're going to tell me I got to give this up? It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So what ended up happening was he had to go now and follow through, because this is God talking to him. Because he loved God, you know what I'm saying? He loved God more than everything else. So he knew one thing, you know what I'm saying? God, I love you, I trust you, everything, you know what I'm saying? And if this is what you're going to do, you're going to do it. But I know something, I'm going to speak something out of my mouth prophetically. We're going to come back. We're going to go up here worship, and we're going to come back, because I don't believe